All righty, here we go with the Turnin Laps podcast. Welcome in, everybody. And I know it's a day early, but we want to get this out here before the wonderful 4th of July holiday. No cup race tomorrow, so figured might as well take our Thursday night, tie it up with some talking about the league and how we did this past week. So joining me tonight, Chris Weiniger with me, Sean Wilder and Sean Happy Happick, and of course myself, Matthew Chase. And yeah, a good round of racing here from High Velocity Racing League all around. Where do we want to start, guys?
That's a good question. Where do we start?
Last Friday, that was the first one, right?
That was the first one. Yeah, we can start with the cup race at the
Watkins Glen. Yeah.
All right, go down here and grab some stuff. It pretty much was dominated in the first two stages by Bryce. He ran away with it, and then we got to the third stage, and he was leading the race, and the car just snapped right on him, and he went straight out on turn 6 into the runoff area, I guess, and he just could not get the car to slow down, and from there on, it kind of fell into the lap of CD Mangrum, and CD walked away with it, so he got the race win and locked himself into the Championship 4. That's a big win there for CD to get himself into the Championship 4, so congratulations to him.
Oh yeah, and he got his first
picture.
His first real win.
His winner picture. He was all up in arms about not getting one from Chicago, but like we said, you wanted that beat up jalopy to have a picture because his car was pretty beat up at the street race.
It was. Then with how he got it, I was like, I'm just not even making a winner's picture. But I made it up to him, and I gave him 2 different winners graphics. So he got that. Was a CD pretty much second the whole race?
Yeah, he was running pretty much second the whole race. Couple challenges early in the stages from Mike Marini, teammate to him.
Mm-hmm.
But after a while, he just kind of took off and was able to gap out on Marini. Hanneman was up front for a bit as well. He had some speed, but a couple of mistakes put him behind the 8 ball. I'm trying to think who else was up front. Tomlinson was pretty...
And Fry was up there too, yeah.
Mason Tomlinson and Kevin Fry, both of those guys were up front. Fry ended up getting third, I believe.
Second.
Second. And then Mason ended up getting third.
Yep.
Yeah, it was able to get by Marini on the last lap.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race. I mean, I watched, I didn't catch the beginning part of it. I caught the end part of it. I know Kern was up there too for a little bit. It looked like he had to pit late. I'm not sure if that was pit strategy or whatever, but it was pretty late in the race. I couldn't remember exactly what happened with him, but yeah, it's pretty unfortunate for Bryce there. He just had looked like he got loose on the second to last corner, and it was either spin her around or try to collect it, and he tried to collect it and went up into that, that space to the right and ended up hitting the wall a little bit, but
pretty hard, honestly. I mean, he had a lot of momentum coming through the back, that short straightaway from the carousel down into turn 6, and like I said, it was like it went under braking and it just snapped straight. He had no way. It felt like to me that the wheel disconnected for him, but he said it didn't have. That wasn't what happened. It just couldn't never get it back, and he hit the wall, and he ended up, I think, 7th or 6th. I can't remember which. For Kern, though, he was able to lead some laps because Mangrum had gone in and undercut him. And I was thinking, wow, can Kern really make it all the way to the end here? I don't think he can. And I think it was like 7 or 6 to go. He had to pit for fuel. And at that point, it just ran away. CD ran away with it. Marini didn't get out in front of him, I don't think. I can't remember.
I don't think so either. No, I think Marini ended up in front of him. But yeah, it was weird. It was almost like the rear brakes locked up, and he just kind of burp, and he tried to collect it. And when you collect it, he went straight in, to that little space outside 6 there and collected the wall. Kind of sucks. He said it was kind of weird how it felt, like just all of a sudden. Never done that the rest of the the race before that, or the whole ever. So it was kind of weird. But
we had multiple
just
people
new update. Yeah, new update. So Who knows?
Yeah, it was a strange thing to be sure, but yeah, CD Mangrum gets the win. Going down here to take a look at the top 5 real quick there, Mr. Happy.
Oh, I
Mangrum
already,
with
yeah, I already
oh,
viewed that, but it's fine.
yeah, Mangrum with the win. Kevin Fry in second. Tomlinson third, with Mike Marini fourth, and Bryce actually did get back to fifth.
Okay.
I think.
And he had a real
that?
good points night too. I mean, he was only
He
2
did.
points behind Mangrum in points
Yep.
night, so it didn't affect him with that lead anyway. So
Yeah, so he's in a good position going forward. Looking at the playoff standings, Mangrum is in. Bryce has a 51-point lead to the cut. Hanneman and Kern are the other two above the cut line. Hanneman's plus 13, Kern plus 8. Fry and Marini now tied at 20-50, 8 behind Kern. Tomlinson 10 back and Mercado 18 back. Mercado ended up having to miss the race and use a provisional, I believe. So he'll be battling from the back of the playoff grid.
Yeah, real close, right along that cutoff line. I mean, real close.
Yeah, I mean we got 3 drivers all within 8 points of each other. So
that was just race 1, right?
that was just race 1. Yep.
Okay, what are our next 2 races?
Pocono and
Yeah.
Martinsville.
Pocono, Martinsville. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And
Pocono,
I think Fry said he really liked Pocono, right? And nobody's out of it for sure. But of course, the whole winning you're in, nobody's out of it. But Mercado can win. Mason the show. So I don't know. I think this battle is going to be the best one yet in these last 2 races to see who's going to get to that final 4.
And multiple drivers circled Pocono. I think Mercado said he really likes Pocono as well, if I remember right. And you know, Bryce is always a threat to win. Fry's been quick all season long. Kern's been quick all season long. Hanneman's found a lot of pace since the start of the playoff, so he could really sneak in there and grab a win. I mean, there's any one of these 8 drivers, even CD could get up there and get a second win. Not that it would help him, really. He's already in, but if he comes in and gets a second,
hurt someone else.
Could hurt someone else, exactly. And right now, the way the standings are, he's got 3 Eternal Racing drivers in that playoff grid with him in the top 4. I guarantee you he would like to at least get one of his teammates in there to battle for the championship.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And then when we do get to the final 4, what are those races?
Those are
all pretty similar tracks, kind of. So
Nashville Super Speedway, New Hampshire, and Phoenix. Those 3 tracks are the championship 4.
Mm-hmm.
So New Hampshire and Phoenix are very, very similar tracks in that they are flat, shorter ovals. Nashville Super Speedway is about a 1 1/3 mile, and
it's a concrete track, so tires normally come into play on those.
Yep, and not only that, the corners, you're going to have a braking zone in this track with turn 1 and turn 3. There's going to be a braking zone because you can't make it around that track without braking. Somebody prove me wrong, please. So it's very similar in that regard, all 3 of them, but it is going to be a real test to see who can come away with the championship. And there's not going to be any playoff points for that round, so everybody's going in flat even. So those 3 will have to battle it out and try to figure out who is going to come away with the championship.
Definitely, yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to catching some of these races here at the end. I think it'll be pretty exciting.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch it play out here the last few weeks.
Yeah, Pocono is going to be an interesting one. Just it's such a large track, and I mean, unfortunately, the car count hasn't been there, lately. So it could be, a strategy game. It's almost like a road course. If you get strung out and you're paying, playing the fuel mileage kind of thing, and it'd be interesting to see how that race plays out. I know that it was just in the officials not that long ago, and everybody was saying it was kind of a mess and a lot of wrecks, but I wouldn't see that happening with these drivers and just the amount of cars we've had. I would think it's going to be green the whole time and kind of a strategy race. So we'll see how that plays out.
Definitely be a good show. What do you guys? That's about all probably we have for Cup. Really, pretty much went over all that.
Yeah, they'll be racing at Pocono in a week from tomorrow's time. And what did I just had it up? I was looking at it. 80 laps, so it could be an interesting race. I would imagine that fuel strategy, like you said, Wilder, is going to be pretty important for the race there at the big track, a big tricky triangle. So
Yeah, like he said, I don't expect it to really have any yellows really, except at the
Right.
stages, of course,
it should be pretty clean.
because they'll
Shouldn't really
get.
have too many issues.
Nah, yeah, I think they'll get spread out pretty quick. I think.
Yeah.
It's a different track. That's
Mhm.
that's for sure. And we have yet to go on it, and this is our first time in all of HVRL that we've been on Pocono.
Yep.
So we sure haven't taken the trucks there in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, we're not taking Gen 6 there this season.
Yeah, yeah. So this will be.
We were going to if there was 20 on the schedule,
Mm,
and we're not taking trucks there this season either. So
right. So what do you guys? Excuse me. I'm
wow,
tired. It's my Friday.
wow.
Work week.
Yeah, it's been a long one. I think I put in more hours on this damn Discord than I have at work.
Well, there you go.
Been a
I don't know,
busy week.
What do we want to talk about? Next.
Why? Yeah, I guess
We
what's
can head to
next?
trucks, just work our day
Yeah.
through the days. So
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, let me pull up.
trucks on Sunday night. We were at Chicagoland. Started off really strong. Cleaned several laps that we had. Then of course we got into an area that we started getting cautions, and they kept breeding more cautions. There was some issues on comms and talking with race control, whatnot. But second week of the season, a lot of new guys, so just going through the learning curves. I can tell everybody that's new that we are ahead of last year's curve as far as how we're doing. We had a big field last year, but we have maxed it out this year. I find it really entertaining and interesting when we have enough guys that you have to qualify to get in on the races. I know it's a lot of fun. It's not for the guys that don't make it, but it adds a whole another dynamic. So just a big applause to everybody that has signed up with our league and the truck series, and not just gone dormant. You guys have been active. Definitely appreciate that. Makes the work that we do that much more enjoyable. Today was a challenge, but every Thursday is our penalty Thursdays. I know it was brought up during the race as far as our restarts. Just really need to focus on getting those cleaned up. Manage your gaps. Don't just pay attention to the truck in front of you. That type of stuff. Look way ahead. If there's a checkup that you see up ahead, it's gonna make its way towards the back. It's just the nature of the beast there. But I mean, we had a strong finish. It was an interesting night for myself. Once again, I qualified in the back and was slowly able to make my way up to the front, but it was a fun last few laps.
Was that the one you
trying to-
qualified like 30th or something? Was that race or is that
Oh, no,
Daytona?
I was Daytona. I qualified 39th, and I think
Okay,
I
maybe it was
qualified
Daytona.
35th
Yeah.
here at Chicagoland. So
My
Why?
qualifying wasn't much better. I think I was in 30th here as well.
Did y'all mess it up,
Yeah.
or was there you just not
I
good
just
at qualifying?
I never found the speed during the week that the rest of my team
Slow
was fine.
AF, just like your hat. Slow AF.
Yeah. So
I felt quick. Like I said, I know I commented on it when you brought me up for the pre-race interview, Happy, but I could not find the speed that I had found throughout the week in the actual session, and I don't know why it was. I could not get down to the bottom on the qualifying laps for turn 3, I think. I could get to the bottom in 1 and 2, but I could not for the life of me get down to the bottom in turn 3 and 4. And it cost me big time. I lost a ton of time, and that's why I was so far back at the start. But Chris and I kind of just, worked our way towards the front as we could. And I think we had a strategy call there in the second stage that we were able to flip it and get to the front and get track position.
yeah, our other two mates were up front for the first stage, and then it got flipped for the second stage. You and I found ourselves up towards the front. But no, I had fun. It was a challenge, but all in all, I think it was a good race. Looking forward to this next week for the series. Not necessarily myself. I'm not a fan of Kentucky, but that's all part of the game we play through the season. Is you get tracks that you like and tracks that you don't like. But no, I mean it's fun getting past the second race. You start to learn the other drivers, especially the newcomers. So you start picking out targets to watch for as the season goes along, as far as who's going to be contenders, and you're going to find yourself battling with each week. So
that is a key to the long run in the championship, is just to do well on the tracks that you don't like. Those are the ones you want to put the time in. Yeah, those are the ones you want to put, like, just like Matt did on Kansas Road. I mean, he knew he wasn't going to be up there, but he stayed straight with a 0x2, I believe, right on that one.
Yeah, I had a 0x at the Kansas Road Course, but
and then still finished okay, right?
17th, I think I finished at the Kansas Road Course.
Yeah, it's like right.
I think we had like 32 or 33 that night or something like that. So
yeah, we had a big field.
Yeah, I mean, I took it as an opportunity for me to try and just be easy as far as that goes, because I'm not a road racer at all. I don't ever claim. If you ever have questions on how to race road courses, I'm not the guy to look at. Wilder's the guy to look at because he's quick, and Happy's the guy to look at because he was quick on the road courses. Bryce Tucker is another good one to look at. But no, I just was in that race to just sail through it, try to get as many laps in with 0 incidents as I could, and I got very lucky, 0x on that race, which I'm happy that I was able to do that. And yeah, it worked out. I got myself off the IPL after that race too. So just you sometimes have to sacrifice. I know I've said it before. If you are high on that IPL list right now, you might have to sacrifice a race and just kind of be safe and try to get 0x's.
Yeah, I've had a few guys reach out to me individually about that, and I've told them all that I found myself on the list last year, and it's part of it, and you've got to look at the strategy aspect of it. Either you keep racing your same strategy and potentially keep getting the X's, or you change up your strategy and focus on getting that IPL lower, get yourself off that list, and then you can change up your focus from there.
Now, it's a little different in ARCA because we have one competition caution, right? So it's not as severe in ARCA. But in trucks, we lengthened the stages from last season. So it's even more severe because you don't have that huge long run at the end. Now it's, probably 10 laps shorter, which 10 laps could be
or more,
4 or 5 positions. But the good thing about the IPL, not only can you stay back and then make your move after the second stage, you don't have to burn any tires in the first 2 stages. I mean, you could save a whole set. I'm just giving y'all strategy there. Why change tires on your first stage? You probably, unless it's a short track, but let's say you're at Charlotte and it goes 30 laps. You're not going to get lapped in 30 laps on the old set of tires. Probably not. Probably be a caution. And then
even
save your set.
And even if you do get lapped, you're probably one of the few that will get lapped, and you probably can get the lucky dog and get back on the lead lap. And guess what? You're getting the EOL anyway.
Yeah, no, we've had somebody on the IPL and then come back and win that race, but they, late caution, they had the extra set of tires because they saved it because there was no need to change tires when you're getting an EOL each stage. And then, so there's strategies, but I would definitely just cruise around in the back, stay out of things until after the second stage, so then you can start making your moves safely. So that's kind of key to get off it there. So,
and plus, you're going to win the war of attrition in that regard too, because if there are a lot of accidents, you're going to be able to, if you're far enough back, you're able to avoid them all. It's going to be easy to fix because you're going to avoid those wrecks. You're going to get by all the cars that are already wrecking. So they've either used their fast repair or they're already used their fast repair and are now damaged more. So now they're going to be out of the race. Guess what? That's a free spot. and another free spot, and all of a sudden you find yourself up 5-6 positions just from staying out of trouble and letting everybody in front of you destroy their cars. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Mike Burns has a good question there, which may be fairly accurate if we have a bad Milwaukee race. But he asks, what if 90% of the field is on the IPL? Then 10% of the field get to qualify and have a real good race. So, but we will EOL you in the order of your IPL. So the best IPL will be, let's say there's only 10 cars that don't have the IPL. The best IPL will start 11th. The worst is going to start 41st or 3rd or whatever.
Yep.
So it'll go in that order. So if you're really
You're
down
gonna
there
have
on
to
the
tell me how to
bottom,
do that.
you just
You
have
just
to do it. You just
do it
have
in
to,
order.
yeah, you just do it in order because if you put me, then you put Matt,
I
it's
got
going to
you.
push me
Yeah.
up, then it just goes
Yep.
up. So you just go down the
So
IPL
also,
list.
a good point here though. It helps if you guys sign into the race.
Yep.
If you show up without signing in, we don't know who's showing up. If you sign in, then we know who's showing up, and we could put you in the proper order.
It'll be a
Yeah.
lot easier on your race control, whoever that may be.
Yeah, because they can get all that pre-race work done and have their order of EOLs already set up and not trying to do it last second.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so also definitely before we race next week, take a look at the IPL. So, because we probably won't have time to list 20 or 30 drivers right before qualifying who can't qualify. It's kind of up to y'all to, I mean,
Yep.
we'll try just to call out numbers of who can't qualify, but that is the
Yeah,
case.
and you can find your IPL list in, for ARCA, it's in that server. It says IPL Outlook. And in truck, same thing. I think it says IPL Outlook. Yep. So,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Also in the season standings, it's right there laid
Yep.
out too. And you
Yep.
can sort that in the
Oh,
season standings. You
yeah,
can sort
yeah.
all
Let
that
me
and
let me
see
go
who's
ahead and
doing real good at it, and
yeah,
maybe
let
do
me
what
go
they're
and pull
doing.
that up
Just
just in
saying.
case they don't know where to find it. So we're in trucks right now.
Yeah.
You'll have your finish, your start. You'll want to go to your standings. You can look at your last race or season standings. Go to standings. You see incident/lap right here. You just click on that to sort it on either way you want, or just look for your name. So you can go down. You can find a cut line, which we did for a 150 in ARCA and a 130 in trucks. So then here's your IPL right here. If you ever want to do the math, you just divide the incidents by the laps, and that'll give you your percentage, and it all adds up, and it's all right there for you. You can kind of figure that up.
I mean, speaking of we can kind of speak on this. The one that Noah Tills won the race. He had 18 incidents still. He came from the back. I remember he was spinning like a top on one of those wrecks. And,
Oh, that was right beginning of the race. Yeah, he got clobbered.
And he did a good job. I mean, you can come from the back, so that proves it right there. Even if you have a EOL at the beginning of the race, I know you'll get it at the stages too. But I mean, it's not the end of the world. You can still work your way through the field. So
No, and then shout out to Jace Keller. No excuses. Started 32nd, finished second. 4X.
oh yeah, that was in the that's the ARCA. Yeah, yep.
Yep. In ARCA, which had just as
Yep.
big as field. I
Yep.
mean,
Oh yeah, for sure. We're 42.
Yep.
And another thing on the strategy, and you guys can stop me if I missed one of you saying it, as far as being on the IPL list and getting the EOLs, and you're trying to take care of how many X's that you're acquiring during the race. If you're not near a position where you're going to get stage points, just back it off a little bit and don't necessarily go 100%, because if you're not going to get any stage points, once that caution comes out for the stage, you're getting sent right back to the back. So there's no reason to push it or race tight with a competitor if neither one of you are in a position of getting stage points.
Really, the smart thing to do is just stay at the back the whole time. But the competitor and every guy is going to want to make moves and work your way up there safely. But you're going to pay more attention. And the whole point of this IPO is once you're on it, ask any of our last guys, last year's, the year before, you don't ever want to get on it again. It's not fun. Is it Wilder? How long were
Wilder
you?
had
How long?
think he
had
was
How
the
long?
legs of it.
How long were you on it last season? It had to have been like half the season.
I think he
Yeah,
got on it right beginning of Chase.
it was the worst part of the season too, and it was, you know, I mean, we've been over this plenty of times. I don't know why you got to keep bringing it up, but
Because it's fun.
yeah, it was just, you know, you get in a bad spot, you get behind the 8 ball, and you're trying to push too hard and trying to make up 1,000 spots in one run, and it just don't work out. It just doesn't happen. I mean, you're going to end up in more trouble than what you would have if you just chill out and take a race off, like, you know, Chase is saying and Sean's saying, just chill in the back, and, you know, yeah, it's not racing. It can be racing though. Just it's taking a break and not being so aggressive. That's all it is. It's not
Well, just
not
calm
racing.
down. Yeah, just
You
calm down and race after the second stage. But you still
Yep.
have to be
Yeah,
mindful.
Exactly.
And I mean, Wilder can attest to this. Being on the IPL at the beginning of the season is totally different than still being on the IPL at the end of the season because of
For sure.
the lap ratio. It takes longer to get that ratio down to change your IPL the later we get into the season.
Well,
And
yes.
not only that, the aggression level gets turned up later in the season too by the other drivers.
Exactly what I was gonna say. Yep.
Yeah, because Sean, you were part of the chase, and you were in the back.
Oh, yeah.
You had to charge to the front to try to get
Yeah.
as many stage points every single race. So even
Yeah.
you didn't have the luxury of sitting in the back and trying to get off the IPL, because not only would that not
Yes.
help you because of the ratio, you needed those stage points to try to contend for that championship potentially. I think you
Yes.
ended up in the top 6 or 7 at the end, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, there was a point to where I knew I wasn't gonna catch, and I just kind of chilled and laid back and took a week off actually, and just kind of were just, you know, but I was at that point so where you just got to go, and I was going, and it doesn't help your IPL standings. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, because the guys in the chase were going for everything they could get too last season. I mean, they were, and you were the only one I think that was on the IPL from the chase guys at that point.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of work to do to try to get up to the front. And meanwhile, you got drivers like Happy and Chris and myself and Mike, who were all,
Mhm.
you know, near the front at the very least, contending for potential stage points every race. And
Well, yeah. I mean, there's
meanwhile,
12 in the chase and only 10 stage spots pay. So
and early
Yeah.
in that chase, there were still like 25 to 30 drivers on track with us as well. So
Yeah.
you were not starting like 15th to 18th, somewhere in that range. You were in the back with all those guys.
30, high 20s or 30s is
Yeah.
where I was.
Yep.
Every stage. It's fun.
Yep. Well, Chris, it's fun. I will go ahead and pull up the. Let me get Noah's graphic up here, then we can go over. But yeah, Noah Tills definitely have some speed. I guess you can kind of explain
Yeah,
how
he
that
did.
race went if you want, or how he found his way
I
up
mean, yeah,
there or
these
whatever.
newcomers are kind of whooping our ass, actually. I mean, top
Yeah, it's
5, we
definitely-
got 3 of them, right?
Yeah, it's definitely putting a new dynamic to things, which is a great thing. We talked about it all of last season. We never knew who was going to be the winner. I mean, we finished off with 12 different winners. So, and I mean, we've got a good mix of return drivers along with new drivers, and I hope it's the same this year. It does put in a different dynamic for our playoff structure that we have. But no, as far as Chicagoland and Noah, he had a heck of a race. When I was doing reviews, I went back, got a screenshot of him dying in the race. I think Wilder, you said he was spinning like a top up there at the, I think center of 3 and 4. But no, he's quick. Along with his teammate Shane. I mean, they're 2 quick trucks. I think right before the end of the race, I got pulled up into the broadcast booth for a quick interview. Asked me what I was planning on doing for that last restart, and I told him name slipped my mind who was on the outside. I knew I'd have a decent chance at him, but no, I didn't, and I was gonna throw a rope on his bumper and try and hang on. I knew I wouldn't have anything for him, but No, it was a fun last green-white checkered that we had. Was able to hold off his teammate Shane. Shane came in third. I was in second, and Noah was the winner. But Tyson Banks, that's who it was on the outside. He came in fourth, and one of my teammates rounded off the top five, Mr. Wilder here.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yep. We have Noah Tills in first, and Chris here in second. Shane Williams in third. Tyson Banks fourth. Sean Wilder fifth. Bobby Grady sixth. Josh Rebel seventh. Matthew Chase eighth. Good top 10 for you, man.
Yeah.
Josh
yeah,
Parker ninth,
absolutely.
and Ian Fry 10th, which is a pretty good showing for him out of all these cars. Then
K&W
looking
had a
at
great showing.
oh
That's what I
yeah,
was getting ready to say. I know we don't like do official plaques or trophies, but we do love tracking team points and whatnot. And Chicagoland was a great one for our team. Top 8 for all 4 of us. So
Yeah,
yeah,
especially with Chris and I having a battle from the back at the start. Like, I don't think either one of us thought we could get into a position to have all 4 of us in the top 10, and that was definitely doable there at the end.
yes,
and that, I mean, that brings up another point going back to what we've already talked as far as starting in the back. Last year was my first league season that I've ever done. I had a rough start, and I think going through last year and just learning all the different aspects of racing in a league, that's what helped me this past Sunday was not pressing and just kind of being patient and allowing the race to come to me, and letting it be what it would be at the end. I mean, I know about 20 laps 20 laps from the end, I was thinking to myself, top 10 finish. I would be happy with. I didn't think I had anything to get any further than that, but some pit strategy and whatnot allowed me to get up even further.
well, before going over our playoff standings, I guess our chase standings, I do want to go over this list, and the diversity I think might be even greater in this season. I mean, I'll just read off some of these names. We got you, Chris, Bobby Grady, Wilder, Zachary Tyler, Mike Kufale, Corey Moore, Seabolt, Chase, even Kean Fry, Noah Till, Shane Williams, Nava, Revel, Shoemate, which led a lot. Some of these guys I'm gonna skip over because I really don't know you. Danny Gross hasn't really been up there. He's had some bad luck lately, but he'll be up there. Randy Post, Tyson Banks, Bloodworth, Dayhoff. I mean, Eli Stack was up there. Patrick Camburn. I mean, Andre. There's so many guys. KT, he won last season. So, I mean, there's a whole bunch of drivers, and there's going to be a handful of good drivers left out of the playoffs too, with that whole list there.
Yeah, especially if we have as many different winners this year as we did last year. That's definitely going to come into play as we get towards the end of the regular season.
I think there's a lot of drivers that have the speed to be able to get wins. So
Yeah,
I
for sure.
wouldn't be shocked if we get as many different winners or close to as many different winners this season as we did last.
I wouldn't be surprised one bit if we have 9 races in the regular season.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, somebody's going to duplicate probably a win, obviously, but there's a ton of contenders. That I mean, Shoemate, he led how many laps?
The most laps.
38 laps, and he
Mhm.
finished what 15th. So something happened to him. I don't exactly know exactly what happened to him, but I mean, he led a lot of the race. I know he was up there, and I mean, Grady. I mean, he
He was up
finished
there.
6th. He was up there most of the race, like
Mhm.
up towards the front. It's
Grady's going to
crazy.
win a truck race this season. I'm almost sure of it. So, but as our playoff stands go, we have Chris and Noah Tills are locked in, so that's got to feel good for them too.
Absolutely.
Bobby Grady is the first one on points in. Then Wilder, Zachary Tyler, Mike Kufale, Corey Moore, and Ryan Seabolt all tied for 6th. Then Matthew Chase, Kean Fry, Shane Williams, and Justin Nava, even after his penalty there. But there's a 3-way tie for 12th as well. Then with Josh Revel and Justin Shoemate, you got Thomas Long, Kenan Cook, and Tyler Starcher looking on the outside just by a couple points. So definitely gonna be interesting since we cut it down a little bit this season to 18. So we only have like 11 races in the regular
Okay,
season.
11.
10. Oh, no,
10?
9. Excuse me.
No,
9.
we have 9.
It's
Oh,
9. Yeah, it's 9. Yeah.
yeah, it was going to be 11. Yeah, so it's 9 and 9.
Yep.
So yeah, that's not a whole lot of races to do that. That's why those penalty points really hurt. Even if it's just 5 points, I mean, that's a lot.
Yep.
So
The
yeah,
one
good.
final thing on trucks before we move on, just looking at the sign-in for Kentucky, we are sitting at 46 trucks right
How-
now, and we still have a couple days.
How many can we take in Kentucky? Has anybody double checked on that?
43.
I believe that's what it is. I haven't double checked it, but
Should be
I'll go look
43.
I'll go look right now.
Oh, right.
It's a normal mile and a half, so I'd assume 43.
Some of these tracks are weird.
but
So
in that
But-
regard, get practice in, learn the track. It's not your typical track as far as 3 and 4. It gets tricky over there. So
It does.
and it looks like Mike is going to show up for Kentucky. It looks like so, and he really didn't drop down that much. I mean, he's in 5th. There's quite a there's like a 15-point gap between 4th
he
and
did
5th.
so well in at
Yeah,
Daytona
yep.
He
with
had
stage
6
points.
He had
Stages,
6
yeah.
points. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
but
he
no,
did
I
so
know
well.
I know for a fact that Mike has told me several times he likes Kentucky. He's a fan of it. So
Okay, well there we go. And
excited to
I
see
do want to
how he
shout out
does there.
to Chris over here leading the season championship points right now, or the season points
Yeah, good
anyway.
job, Chris.
Yeah, good
Thank you,
job.
guys.
One of these days, an admin's gonna not have to win a
Yeah.
truck season.
Starts
We're all
looking
locked out of
fishy.
it. We're all locked out of it, you mean?
Well, since I'm the bearer of bad news on Thursdays for penalties, I mean it looks bad if I start racking up penalties. So I try and keep it clean.
For sure. Speaking about penalties, you want to go over that and address any of those so people can maybe fix those if they're kind of unsure of what they're looking for or what we expect out of them before we move on to ARCA.
The biggest thing is just I know everybody has a but statement for the restarts and start, and it's like we're telling about the gaps in the accordion, and they'll come back with, well, what about the guys behind me? It's people are having too big of a gap. You get into an accordion, they're not getting into formation going into 3 and just allowing yourself to get the comms to, or sorry, getting the nerves to calm down before the green flag. Because I mean, they're racing up to get up into spot, and then instantly it goes green. So you don't have a chance just to take a deep breath, get yourself collected before the green comes out.
Yeah,
but
just do what your
don't just
parents.
don't pay attention to just the truck in front of you. You got to look ahead if you're towards the back.
Yeah, definitely just do what your parents raised you to do and stop worrying about other people. They'll get their penalty if they run into the back of you. I know it sucks or whatever, but I would rather them get the penalty and you get a 2 or 4x than you get a drive-through and -5 points by changing lanes, or an EOL and -5 points for changing lanes. So that's a bigger deal. And it is black and white on changing lanes because it's hard to prove intent. See, a lot of people, well, they were wrecking. Well, we all think you could have slowed down, but we're not going to go over every single one. So it's black and white. You leave your lane.
Yeah.
It's a penalty.
No, I mean,
Unless
there
there
was-
actual is a wreck, like an actual wreck.
And I mean, there was one handed out this week for failing to check up for a caution, hitting the back end of a truck that was getting slowed up for the wreck in front, and then there was a truck back behind. So you obviously can't race in your mirror, but it's the grand scheme of things of being aware of your surroundings. I think I mentioned somewhere in the Discord of just kind of learning the track as you're practicing. Have your escape routes in your head, I guess you could say, for different sections of the track. If you're really worried about the IPL and your X's, off track 1X is better than a 4X. So, and then living for another day. A lot of restart issues for the race. Let's see, any others? I did make a note on black flags. Um, make sure that you're not asking for a black flag to be cleared. That is a pretty severe penalty. If you have a black flag, you should have a message from iRacing pop up on your screen saying what the black flag is and what you need to do to clear that black flag, whether it be just a drive through or stop for 15 seconds, 40 seconds. It all varies. I know we've had some questions from guys in race as far as what I'm supposed to do. It should be on your screen.
Go ahead and explain to them what that penalty is so they know kind of how.
Right off the bat, it's an L3. So your next race, you're going to have a drive through and you're getting 10 points docked. So,
Well, I don't think there's any OL on that one.
Yeah, there is. L3 is EOL drive through so that they can be at the back of the field. And then it's the 10-point dock as well.
It might be that, but it is that severe because if you get a black flag to be cleared, who knows how many positions you just gained.
Ask Chris.
Yeah, I accidentally made that mistake. Last year it was a caution with the field really spread out. I got confused, asked for it, got it cleared, and I think I was the only driver in any of the series that had points taken away during the season. But yeah, we take that really serious because I mean you can potentially gain a lot of spots by getting a black flag cleared.
Yes, that's why it's
especially
so severe.
that one. That one, I mean, you gained probably 10 to 12 spots just because you were allowed to be back on the lead lap in that position. So,
yep.
And if you do it again, like all of our other penalties, do it a second time, you're getting a L4. So,
which is not good.
I mean, I would just say it. I mean, this is going to lead into the ARCA stuff because this is exactly the same problem we had in ARCA. If everybody gets lined up into turn 3 and gets within the car length of the car in front of you or truck, then and you maintain the pacing speed, that's the key. If some people are speeding up, slowing down, speeding up, slowing down, so that makes the car behind you speed up, slow down, and then that's the accordion all the way back.
Yep.
So if everybody maintains within a couple miles an hour of that pacing speed before 3 and get the gaps lined up, we understand at the back of the field, some people are going to be catching up. We get that. That's going to happen. But I mean, we're with 40 cars. So I mean, the top, 15 rows should be pretty much lined up and pacing at the same speed, through 4.
Yes.
But what we're seeing is at the restart zone, there's a gap and people are trying to fill that gap. And then the car behind them is trying to fill that gap. And then they have to stop. And then there's the thing,
Yep.
And then it goes all the way back. And that's where the wrecks happen.
Right.
And as the leader, that's your most important job is to try to maintain pace speed. It tells you right on the screen what pace speed is.
As I was talking to a driver this afternoon, they pretty much swore up and down that they, laying back was, I felt like they were thinking it was the best opportunity. But what had happened is you lay back and then go when they go, and then when they check up, you're going 20 miles an hour faster than them. Now have to lock them up, swerve, hit the wall, and you cause a wreck. If you were on their butt, that wouldn't happen. Also, a little bump isn't even an X if you just barely tap them.
Yep.
So when they check up, those things will happen. But laying back is the worst thing you can do.
Right. Yeah. If that gap is closed up, you can't go nowhere. Like you're there. Like you obviously are not naturally going to try it. But if that gap is there and you see the cars 2 rows up going, you're obviously going to want to try to take a little bit of advantage of that. And that's when the car in front of you checks up and then that's when the contact happens. You know, if everybody's got the gaps closed up and everybody's pacing at the same speed, waits until the car in front of you goes, and then you go, there's zero chance of problems.
Right.
The
And
only
But,
then
time the only
this,
time there should be literally no gap, is if it's the first and second row and you are teammates.
right,
I know that in like drafting tracks, if you got your teammate lined up behind you, sometimes the second row is the one that starts it if you got your teammate behind you, not the first row, and then you guys go. If you're smart,
right.
I'm giving you some strategy.
Mhm.
Maybe not our strategy, but some strategy.
Here's
I've
the
used
thing.
that before.
Just work on it, guys. If you don't want to trust us and believe us, then the progressive system's gonna get you. And that one starts out with an L1, I believe, right? For the gap, just a warning.
Yeah, I believe the gap is,
Okay,
but
well,
Yeah, it's a warning.
y'all do it in 6 different races. Don't listen to us.
Yeah.
Don't want to follow the
Yeah.
rules. You're removed from the league, and that's it. Once you get to an L6, and L5 is the suspension. L4 is like
I would
15 or
just say
20
it's not.
points.
Yeah, it's not something that we're making up either. If you watch NASCAR, watch their restarts. That's all I got to say. And just watch their restarts every time. They don't take off before the guy in front of them takes off. If they do, it gets squirrely and it bunches up and it causes a huge wreck behind them. And you see when somebody's got old tires and they spin their tires. I mean, that's kind of understandable, but I mean, they have zero gap. Watch their restarts. There is zero gap between those cars.
And to add to that, you're not allowed to change lanes in NASCAR either. Because guess what? Look
Correct.
at the Phoenix races. How many times have you seen somebody posted from the lead crossing down and changing lanes before the start finish line? Logano had it happen this year at the Phoenix race in the spring. Multiple drivers have had that happen before. They cut across to try to cut that dog leg at Phoenix, and they get tagged for a black flag, and that's a drive-through. Guess what?
Right. All you have to wait.
We're just
What
trying
is
to do
it?
the same thing.
What is it from the back to green? Maybe 3 to 4 seconds. Just wait till the start finish and then pass someone.
Yeah.
Just wait. Gaining that half
If-
a spot and then pushing it 3 wide in corner 1 ain't gonna help
If you're
you anyway.
if you're faster than them, you're gonna get by them.
Right. And then what's
Plain
the
and simple.
hurry? Yeah. You'll you'll get around them. And the other thing that has to be cleaned up, because there's no excuse for that, is the contact under caution. Pay attention, guys.
Yeah.
Stop
Yeah.
giving other guys X's just because you're looking at your phone while you're under caution or something. I don't know what's going on or how you can
Fiddling with
do
your
that.
Stream Deck.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're coming into pits all together, like I just go offset from the guy in front of me. There's no reason. I don't want any chance of hitting that guy in front of me, even if it's from the guy behind me. I don't want any part of that. So I'm offset a little bit, and you're just keeping a distance and a safe distance until you are stacking up for the restart, and then we close those gaps.
Yeah, once the lucky dog goes by, if you're second or fourth or sixth or eighth, you know where you're gonna be. Pop out to the outside. Don't have to be in a line with the guy in front of you after the lucky dog goes by. I've done that multiple times.
That's another thing I'd bring up. As far as you get some latecomers getting back up to the pack just because of cautions, damage, whatnot. iRacing's telling them to get back up to their spot. As the field's coming around with the pace car, especially if it's coming to green, don't spread out across the entire track, because then you've got a guy stuck in the back trying to make his way through. Then he starts weaving in and out or going right up the center. It leads to issues. So try and leave a lane up there if we're running into that scenario, so that driver can get up there in a quick, timely, safe manner,
Right.
get into a spot, and then we take the green.
Right.
If you're a lap down vehicle and you're on the bottom, go to the apron, let everybody by that's on the lead lap by. If you're on the high side and you are a lap down truck, get to the wall, not into the wall, but get to the wall and let everybody go by you on the inside.
Oh yeah, we'll extend it a lap if we need to. We have no problem with that if there's a bunch of people out of order and things like that. It's just a lap. It's fine.
We just need to know before we get to turn 4.
Right. So, and if it's one guy and the whole field is up, we'll just clear some black flags instead. I don't want to extend the lap for one guy trying to catch up because he was doing damage, or we can just throw him in EOL real quick, which is another thing. you're damaged, please ask for EOLs, because
Yep.
giving one person EOL, it may be a pride thing or whatever, but you're crab walking down 3/4 of the track, and people are
Exactly, Tyler.
passing you to catch up. If we can just give you an EOL, we wouldn't have to clear 15 other flags. So
Which is something we had to do. I think it happened a
truck
lot
race,
in truck race and in the ARCA race as well. We had a lot of people. Wilder can correct me when he comes back, but I think we had a lot of people that were damaged not asking for EOLs. Was I right on that one? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if you're damaged, I don't care if you're going to be pitting for your damage, then you need to ask for an EOL if you are not going to be able to catch up to where you were. For sure, 100%.
Yeah, so it just makes it easier. I mean, you could be damaged, your hood could be flopping over the place, and you might be able to still catch up and do all that. But well, speaking of ARCA, Wilder, I guess you can go over your series here and kind of talk about the winner and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I felt there was some very good racing. There was a pack at the front. They were battling, I think, pretty much the whole race. It was the kind of the same group of guys, and then there was a whole nother pack, like from 10th to like 17th, that were battling pretty good too. So I mean, there was some good racing, and I think everybody's just kind of getting used to these cars. They drift up a little bit, especially under traffic. It's not they're aero sensitive, I would say, a little bit more than even I would think, So I think that led to a lot of the cautions, just drivers not being prepared for that, So we had quite a few cautions, of course, but and restart violations, kind of like we were just talking about with the trucks, is the same thing. The accordion effect was definitely going on. And I'm going to look at the top 10. I don't know if you guys have that. Oh, Sean just walked away, so he doesn't have the graphic, but we'll talk about the top guy. Brandon Dayhoff, he won the race. He was up front most of the time along with Jace Keller, and Kimmel was towards the front most of the time. He dropped back a little bit. Sean McLean finished 4th, and Thad Miller, he finished 5th. I know there's quite a handful of drivers that also were up in that front pack that had some issues, and unfortunately, didn't get that top 5. But I mean, I felt it was pretty good racing with all the cautions. There was a lot of not clear cautions, is what I would call them, like in the corner. I think it is partly due to that aero thing I was talking about. People weren't expecting their car to kind of drift up, so it looked like they probably weren't intentionally changing lanes, but they changed lanes like in the middle of the corner, and they just weren't expecting their car to kind of drift up coming out of 4. Out of 4, it seemed like that was where most of the issues were, or going into the corner and then hitting the apex and then drifting up a little bit. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I think there was some great racing for sure between those guys. And then
we had a good green flag stint there kind of early on, so that was nice to see. I was giving it hope there. Then it got a little messy, but all up and down the field there was good racing. There was some bad, but I mean, I see a lot of promise in this series, even with these new guys later in the season for sure.
Yeah, we had like 6 or 7 battling up in the front pack there for a while. Dayhoff was in there, Keller, Zimmel was in it. I'm trying to think. Corey Moore,
the 3 car, he was up there.
Drew Halloran, yeah, he was up there. Bloodworth was up there for a bit as well.
Yeah, he was. Yes, a lot of the time he was up there.
And then we had Christopher Dyke was up near the front for a little bit of the race as well.
Zimmel on that one too. Yeah,
Zimmel was up there. Then the storyline that I had was Thad Miller. Right before one of the last cautions, he was on the tail end of the lead lap. The caution came out. He was ahead of the leader. He was able to get around. He ended up finishing in the top 5. So good battle in back there from Thad as well.
Oh, he was fast. Yeah, he was pulling away from the leaders when I thought he was about to go a lap down.
Yep. Chad House led some
Um,
laps as well.
Williamson, I know he was towards that pack 32 car, I believe.
Yep.
He was up in the mix a lot of the time. Yeah, I mean it was pretty good race, and it did get kind of messed up by the cautions and stuff, but it's going to happen. And I know some of the restarts, we already talked about it, so we're not going to dwell on it too much, but it's kind of the same deal, like close up the gaps coming into 3. I know some people are afraid to close the gaps because they're afraid the car in front of them is going to check up. But if everybody is doing their job and closing those gaps and everybody's going the same speed under pacing, there's not going to be any issues. And everybody fires off at the same, when the car in front of them fires off.
Right.
So we just got to clean that up, and it's going to make the racing so much better, because that was most of the problem that I heard today was just I'm laying back because I don't want to get smashed from behind me or run into the guy in front of me. I'm trying to be safe, but it's not really the safest way. If everybody just is consistent in their speed, then I think we're going to clean up a lot of this, and it's going to be some pretty good racing. We already saw some pretty good racing. I mean, it was pretty good
Right.
stints that we saw. So
Right.
Much
And,
better than the preseason race. Much better. I
oh,
would
for
say.
sure, yes, yep.
oh yeah. And then like, yeah, I mean, y'all, I mean, we're trying to help y'all. Listen, get on board, or you only have so long before, I mean, you're probably not going to be in this league anymore if you keep not following the rules. So, and we would like to keep everybody that wants to stay. So, did
Yeah, that
y'all?
brings.
Oh, go ahead. I didn't know if you already went over the winner or not.
Yeah, we did, but I just want to say one thing. You talked about the rules. Like, I mean, some people might think they're new to this league. I get it. Actually, 90%, 80% of the ARCA guys are new to this league. We review the races. Other leagues probably don't do that. They don't spend the time to do it. We want everybody to race the proper way, so that way it makes an enjoyable experience for everybody. It's not just a free for all. It's not an official race where everybody can just do whatever. We're trying to structure the races so they're enjoyable for everybody. And, there's some consequences to your actions, and you're going to have to race around these people for many weeks. And we want it to be enjoyable at the end of the day. That's the reason for the rules. We're not trying to be Debbie Downers and bust you, and we're not, that's not the point of it at all. The point of it is for clean racing. That's it.
Yep.
If y'all want better
And
racing, just get that I rating up, or win the series or win a couple races and get up in the trucks. And if you want races that are reviewed for incidents, then get up in the Gen 6. We actually take the time. It's a smaller field, a lot better driving, not near as many wrecks. But that's the reason we don't review every wreck, is because I mean, y'all are all rookies in the rookie HVRL league. Most of you are in the ARCA series. Y'all are all rookies. So we're not going to fault you for making a mistake, as in a racing mistake, driving. So plus
yeah.
Right.
all the wrecks that
Yeah.
happen is a bunch.
Yeah, just the drifting up is going to happen. I mean, the things like it comes with experience. So if you guys stick with it, I mean, we keep saying this, but you got to just trust us. I mean, we can't. I mean, you don't have to trust us. You can do whatever you want, obviously. But I mean, the racing is going to get better. We can tell you 1,000 times, but you just have to be there to see it. That's
Sure,
all I
and
can
then
say.
also in every other league, you're going to be in there with guys probably 3,000-4,000 I rating, so everything gets spread out. So remember, y'all are all pretty close I rating. Most of y'all are within like 500 to 1,500. I mean, that's 1,000 I rating. That low is not that big. So there's going to be a lot tighter racing, is all I'm saying.
Yep.
Amongst the 40 of y'all, so y'all are really close, which is what I like about this league. It's competitive, and no one probably is ever going to run away with any series.
So the one thing I will say is, be happy with a top 10. You're not going to have the fastest. You're not going to be the fastest at every track, but that doesn't mean that you have to try to push to drive above what you feel is your weight class. If you have a top 10 car, you got a top 10 car. If you got a top 5 car, you got a top 5 car. Like, if you just be happy with not winning, because there's only one guy that gets to get the win every week, and may be you sometime, but it doesn't mean on the ones that it's not that you got to try to push it extra just to get there, because I think that's going to cause a lot of problems for you.
That is for sure. Very good words
Yeah,
right
I
there.
mean, talking about being happy with the top 10, I mean, just looking back at your season last year, happy. I mean, yeah, you were able to get 3 wins, but I mean, you had 15 top 10s
Out
for
of
the
20
season
races.
out of 20 races. So it's a
12,
consistency thing.
12 top 5s.
Yep.
So, and then mind you, I wasn't, like I said, I got one pole. It was on a road course that I shouldn't even have had. I just put in so many laps there. That was my only pole. That's it. I mean, I didn't start up front. Some races I started 15th or beyond some races, but staying clean, seeing these newer guys, anybody into the league that doesn't understand the IPL. Let me try to explain this. And everybody that's been on it will understand it once you've been on it for a season. I know you think you're not doing anything, and all the X's are everybody else's fault, and some of them may be in this league. So, I mean, there are always going to be some, but I promise you're putting yourself in a bad situation, because you should be able to see these things that are probably about to happen. When you have 2 guys that can't keep a line, why would you try to push them 3 wide? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just a bunch of stuff that y'all can really see on the spatial awareness and just being aware.
And I can even attest to that, because when I first joined the league last season, we got through Daytona. I had a terrible race. We went to Vegas. I had a great race. We went to Nashville Super Speedway, which was the 3rd race on the schedule, and I got a black flag as we were crossing the line because I got my 20th X on that. I got barely touched into another truck at the line and got my 20th X. So I went from finishing in like 8th position or 10th position, I don't remember where it was exactly, all the way down to like 18th or 20th. And I remember I talked to Happy and Bryce, and I was like, this is bullshit, blah blah blah. I made the same comments. I got on the IPL, I got off the IPL, and then I started to really see it is designed to make the people who are causing the issues be at the back. And unfortunately, that causes some cautions having those people in the back. But if you're smart about it, it won't cause those issues if you're on that list, because you're going to be able to be smarter. You're going to be able to be more aware of what's going on around you. That's kind of what we're trying to do with this list, is try to make you kind of see, okay, now you can look at the front of the pack and see that they're racing tight, but they're not racing and touching each other. They know when to, give and take. And that's really what it comes down to, learning how to give and take. You're racing for points. You're not racing to win every race. It's points racing for a reason. And the best way to do that is sometimes to give up a couple of positions to be more safe and get yourself away from, any incidents that you could get.
Yeah, that is it. And yeah, I won 3 last year, but I only won 1 in the regular season. I only won 1 race. Yeah, whatever. In fact, they were
I'm still
there.
salty about that one. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but in our what do we have? 10? No, we had 12 regular season races, and then we had like 8 playoff races or chase races. In 12 first races, 1 win, and that was it. And then I was able to win the season there just off consistency,
and
staying
it was on
clean.
A track you didn't think you were going to get the win at Dover.
In none of those tracks did I thought I was going to win. In fact, Gateway didn't win. I thought I was going to win Gateway.
That's what I mean. Yeah, you thought.
I thought I was going to win Texas. I finished 28th there, but I was still only running like 6th or 5th. There's no way I was winning that after I seen some of these drivers. I just didn't have the pace. But yeah,
I tried my best from the back at Dover to change that up.
Well, you did
Mike did too, and then Mike tried to do some stuff too, and then he got loose and took me out.
I was all right. I think by then I felt like I was the quickest one on track for that race, so I was fine with it. But other than that, it was at Dover, Talladega, which was luck, and then Homestead's whatever.
You were fat. You and Wilder were the 2 fastest on that track by far. Nobody was touching either one. It was gonna be one of you 2 getting that win, and at that point, you'd already locked up the championship, so it was more just a pride thing for you at that point. And
oh, for sure.
at the end, you were, I don't know what you did, but you were head and shoulders above Wilder. No offense, Wilder. On that
Oh, no, for
that
sure.
third stage. I mean, you were
I
just
think he was
so much
pushing too.
faster.
Once we came out of the pits, I think he was really just pushing too hard to
I was
keep up
trying
with
to
me.
get in front of him and stay in front of him, and that I just couldn't do it. So
Yeah.
and that I killed my shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but my whole thing, I just stayed clean. I had the lowest uphill of everybody that raced more than 2 races. You know, and then you're able to get top 5s. You're able to stay in contention and not have to worry about being in the back. I didn't get a whole lot of bonus points. I did crap in stages in the playoffs, to be honest with you.
And even on the races that you didn't finish in the top 10, you were battling in the top 10 to top 5 for most of those races as well.
Right. I mean, there was the outliers where I finished 20th or whatever, like Texas, because I made a dumb move. And like
you also got
Nashville
taken out of
Super
Texas.
Speedway. Then the Nashville Super Speedway, I made a mistake. You know, but I've also made other mistakes and took Corey Moore out of like I can't remember what track that was.
Vegas. Like he was in third trying to chase me down.
Yeah,
It was behind me.
yeah.
We're both chasing Wilder, and I was in second battling with Bloodworth, and then Corey Moore got dumped by you. Made it a 3-horse race at the end there.
Yeah, that was me pushing too hard and going too low. Then kind of dive bombed them. So, but that was my mistake on that. So yeah, so consistency, guys. You don't have to win every race, like Matt was saying. I promise. But,
so I think I announced the top 5. I don't know. Do you guys want to go through the standings or?
Yeah. Let me
Take a
just
look at that.
pull off the point standings here for that. Let me drag that over.
Oh, there's the playoff thing. Huh?
Yeah, that'd be better. So you don't have to go over 60 people.
Chase out.
There it is.
So now in the ARCA series, since there's no playoff points, so I think these races are going to be a lot tighter than a truck series since they have stage points. I mean, there's no stage points here. The only thing that's going to separate you is just those little bonuses by 0x or pole or leading the lap, and then race points. So it'll definitely be tighter here.
Consistency is going to be more important in the ARCA series, I think.
For sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes. You want to go over some of your drivers there, Wilder?
Yeah, so we got in the points Chase Outlook, Dayhoff's leading. He's plus 15 above the cut line, and Sean McLean, he's had some good showings. I think both races. He's plus 10, and Jace Keller ran up front a ton this race, I think. Plus 8. Stotler's been consistent. Plus 8. They got 3 guys tied up.
Well, that's a math problem on the plus 8 there. I'll fix that. Because 74 and 69.
Sure
yeah.
I was looking at the points. Come on. I didn't do that. That was Sean. The other Sean.
Blame Sean.
And so Stotler's there in 4th. Carson Smith was the Daytona winner. Him and Thad Miller are tied up. Andrew Ziegler, he ran up front a lot last race too. Zimmel got a podium. Yep. He's tied for 7th with Ziegler. Burns has been very consistent in both races. Revel has been consistent in both races and in the trucks. I saw him quite a bit in the truck race. He's going to be quick. Quinn McLean, Sean McLean's brother, is there in 11th. And Tyler Ballman, he ran a lot up front as well. So I think he's going to be a contender. Forrest Martin, Corey Moore, Brent McKee, John Shields, Ryan Stevenson are below the cut line, but I mean,
it's so
5
early.
points out. I mean, come on, they're right there, all them guys, and you could probably go down to 25, and they're all in it.
Not to mention, boy, those numbers are. I'm maybe not even adjust that because
I don't think 50s, you did.
Yeah, you didn't because it's 30-90.
Yeah, 39 above the cut line for Dayhoff is a big number like that.
And 29's a pretty big number too from McLean.
Yeah, he just made me look like an idiot.
That's all good. Jace Keller is 24. I mean, 24 is a good number as well. Once you start getting down to around, you know, Thad Miller and Carson Smith at 67, so they are 17 above.
Yeah.
Everything below those two, I think, is kind of close.
But still,
within 10 points.
you're just working to get above that cut line, man. And with
Yep.
the slew of different races we got coming up, which Wilder, do you want to go over just the next 2 or 3?
Yeah, we got Milwaukee's the next one. I think this is gonna be. I hate even saying this. It's gonna be a clean race. It's a
Ooh.
slick track.
Ooh.
There, we should have a lot of cars, so it's gonna be a slick track, but it's not the high speeds, right? So, everybody's gonna have to use their brake. Everybody's gonna have to be careful coming off the corners. There might be some spin outs, but I think after the beginning to the comp caution, I think after that, everybody gets some laps in and figures out the track. I'm hoping it's going to be clean. It's a wide track. It's kind of a short track, but not really. It's wide. You got room. You can actually use the second lane, and it's not even that big a deal because you can get the momentum down the back stretch and the front stretch. So I'm just hoping it's going to be a clean race, and that's all we're kind of looking for,
Yeah,
And then the
no,
next one after that.
yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to touch base on Milwaukee because it kind of reminds me of Gateway. So I love Milwaukee as well. We haven't got to race it in trucks yet in this series. But no, it is a wide track. You have 120 laps, which is the most so far, because it doesn't matter how big the track is. You just want laps. You want laps to get that IPL down. That's
Yep.
why I say, even if you're damaged, I'm disconnected. I have 10 minutes of damage. It'll help you cruise around on the apron for 20 laps, because that's 20 clean laps that you can get. Don't just disconnect. But it's a wide track. I don't think there's a lot of opportunity to get a bunch of X's, because I think people will bump each other in a corner and will spin someone out. Maybe a 2X, maybe a 4. And I think other people, it's a wide track and not high speed. You'll be able to miss them, I think. So I don't think we'll have the amount of X's that we've been having on these higher speed tracks.
Yeah, Vegas is high speed. It's just flying around the track, and so when you wreck, you're hitting hard, and cars are going upside down. It's not going to be that,
Yeah,
The
so
track itself feels like a very similar to New Hampshire, but a little bit wider as well, from what I've seen.
Yeah, so I just expect a lot of IPLs percentages, because I know those are all inflated because Daytona. That's why I don't even post it after the first week, because Daytona's Daytona. And Vegas and ARCA ran kind of like a draft track, so everybody stayed together. So, but this is more one that'll separate a little bit, so maybe we can get some green flag runs. Anyway, I'm sorry. You can go on with the next race or two.
And then after that is Chicagoland, another wide track where there's multi grooves. I would just say on that one, you got to just be careful of your surroundings, especially coming off of 4. People are going to be using the apron. I think that's happened at Vegas as well, where some people use the apron and they're coming across the front stretch and they're not really sure if that car below them's on the apron or like on the yellow line, or if they're, so it's a multi groove though. It's pretty wide. So hopefully, we can get some clean laps there. And then after that is the Kansas road course. So.
I can't wait to watch that one.
The biggest thing we can tell you, you got to do this because it is going to help you on these 1.5-mile tracks when they're cutting the apron. Look left, look right. Make sure you got buttons for those 2 inputs.
And
on
mind
my
you,
wheels, I've got them on the bottom, so it's easy to see, and I know exactly where they are. I can show you. On mine, I'm using.
Oh, hang on. Let me get to it here.
Go back to it.
There you go.
So on my 2, I've got these 2 buttons are my look left and look right. So the cam button here is my look left, and the R button is my look right. And so when I'm driving on a 1.5 miles, if I don't know where the car on the outside or the inside is, guess what? I'm hitting that button to take a quick look. And I know that you're not going to be looking forward, but that half a second just checking, if you're on that apron, take a look to your right, see what they're doing, because if they're not right on that line, and you're able to actually get up, that'll help you out as well. And for the guys that are on the high side, same thing. You may not know if that guy's on the apron. That quick look left button to take a look out that left side and see where the guy is, that can benefit you a ton, because again, now if they're on the apron, you can come down to that line and then move up the track as you're coming out of the tri-oval or quad oval.
And mind you, on these ovals, if you get off the racing service, which the quad oval is off a racing service, they do not have to let you come back on. So I would really advise, I normally don't take the quad or tri-ovals. I don't take the shortcuts because I feel like it upsets the car a little bit. And I would just rather not take that chance. But once you go off of the racing surface, like I said, they got priority. So they don't even have to let you come back up. So just be mindful of that before you start making those moves. Make sure it's really worth it.
I'm hoping Milwaukee is it's a great track. I did a bunch of laps today. It's fun in these cars, and you can start out wide and then cut the end of the corner off and straight line it off to get that speed coming down the straightaways, or you can dive it in and keep it low, tight to the track, and come on. I mean, there's some grooves, so it should be fun.
Yeah, and these cars are pretty hard to spin out. I know I did Martinsville, and they were almost impossible to spin out there. But I haven't went on Milwaukee.
It's a hot track.
It's
going to be a hot track. So, yeah.
Slick.
A little bit. Not early. You got to get
Gotcha.
about 10, 15 laps in, and then it
Okay.
gets a little sketchy maybe off of 4, but not sketchy. You just got to throttle control, and that's good. I mean, that's good to learn.
Well, I'm
Speaking
looking forward
of throttle
to it.
control,
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
yeah.
There you go. This guy. That's why you're the GOAT.
oh
Nice segue.
man, let's talk about throttle control and the Gen 6 car at Rockingham. That was a dick punch, wasn't it?
Yes, thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.
I don't know. I had fun.
I had a good time, other than hitting the wall and taking Post out, and hitting the wall and taking Andre out, and the start. The start was fun too. Yeah.
Yeah, that one caught
Rockingham.
everybody off guard.
Yeah, that one caught a lot of people off
You
guard.
want to
Not
know the
anybody.
difference? You want to know the difference between an ARCA driver and a Gen 6 driver? Look at Dayhoff. He wins the ARCA and takes everybody out in the Gen 6.
Oh man.
Oh man, and it was one night before too. Good lord. Yeah, just talking about Gen 6 though. Oh man. It was the Kern and Fry show at the front for sure. Those guys were real quick, and their experience showed in full display there at Rockingham.
I mean, let's be honest, those two should finish 1-2, right?
They should.
I mean, they're both better than me. I'm in no delusion. But with the playoffs, I know it's different.
The playoffs play a factor. You never know, because they could get caught up in something in these rounds of the playoffs, and all of a sudden they're on the outside looking in.
Well, I feel like those are definitely the two favorites. So
they are. I think they are the two favorites as well, for sure. So yeah, we had Rockingham this past week, 165 laps, and man, that outside wall likes to suck the cars right into it off of 2. We had multiple people hitting that wall outside of 2. I would say probably most of the cautions came from turn 2, I would say. I don't know if you guys want to agree with that, other than the first one.
I don't know. I did it all by myself in the middle of the backstretch. I don't even.
Well, it started because off of 2, though.
That wall was not forgiving either. I mean, it wasn't like it just grabbed you. I mean, it shot you off of there. The car was suddenly upset and almost impossible to keep it corrected, especially with traffic around you.
If you missed your apex coming out or got on a little too early, there was almost nothing you can do for it just to pull you up to that wall. So you had to be really careful. Yeah,
it was impossible almost to get the apex just right.
Then when someone was by you, I don't know if it was a dirty air. I mean, I guess you just wouldn't think it would affect it that much, but it just felt like it was a big difference when somebody was like kind of near you.
It was kind of funny after the.
Go ahead,
it was kind of funny after the first few restarts, and everybody kind of got an understanding of the car. It was some of the most passive restarts. Everybody's tiptoeing. It's like, okay, the car's under me. Let's go.
Yeah, from the start finish line to turn one, everybody was just like so soft on the throttle. Oh my lord, it was funny.
Dayhoff ruined it all.
Damn ARCA drivers.
Hey, and you know what? We were all tight, and unfortunately, it caught a lot of people up in that first incident. But we were all tight on the start, and that's unfortunately sometimes that's the downside to being like that. But,
Oh, you know what? I didn't even notice. It caught all 4 of us up because we were all in a line because we're all on the team and we were all on the top line
on the outside. Yeah,
the bottom line didn't even get that much damage, I don't think.
No, but it was
just Dayhoff, yeah.
It was just George and Happy and me and you and you and everybody.
Stacked it up.
All 4 of us and George. We had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
That was something totally unexpected. I was not expecting that to be like that on the restarts.
Yeah.
Did it suck? Yes. Was it funny? Also, yes.
No, I had a great time on the track.
I did too when it was all said and done, and I had to wipe the sweat off of everything because that was stressful though.
Yeah.
You mentioned how Fry and Kern were on another level. The one brief time that I was near Kern to be able to watch his line, like I tried it and just not being to his level and knowing exactly what technique he was doing. If I tried that, I think I would have tore the tires off the car in about 10, 15 laps and had absolutely nothing. It was pretty neat to see while I was around him briefly.
He was running a really good diamond on that for sure. So
yeah, turn 1 and 2 are rough. We talk about 1 and 2 at Texas, 3 and 4 at Kentucky, how difficult they are. 1 and 2 at Rockingham is difficult for a completely different reason. That second apex off of 2 is another beast.
I mean, it is just a weird track how like you could be so tight coming into the corner and then so loose coming off the corner. It was just night and day. Crazy.
Yeah. And
it was.
It was fun though. Like you guys said, after a while, once we got settled into a groove, we actually did get a couple of green flag runs in there, and it was a blast. It was a blast to run laps on that track, and I really hope that they can get that thing repaved and we can get reskin taken care of on iRacing, because I think that track with safer barriers, repave, I think that thing will be a beast in another way. That'll be a blast.
I've never even been on that. I don't think in trucks, which it's coming up in trucks. I mean, it's got a while, but I'm curious. Okay, was it these cars that kind of made it more difficult? I assume it's still going to be pretty difficult in trucks as well.
It's going to be
coming off of 2 is the same. It's coming off of 2 is still difficult. I mean, it's a little more manageable, but I mean, still, you're gonna, the tire wear, you got to keep it under you, and it's about managing tire wear. I feel like the whole way through, and we saw at the end, like Fry had better tires, I had better tires, and Kern still almost caught me with old tires.
Right? No. So
there was a caution with like 20 to go, I think, and I think you and Fry both got tires on that because you were able to save a set for the end, and the tire advantage was pronounced. I mean, it was drastic how different the tire strategies were, and Fry was, I think, like 10th or 8th, somewhere in that range.
Dude, he flew by me in third in like 2 laps. That's why it's like, how did you get up here so fast?
And then Wilder's right behind him, I think, too, to get by you. And it was drastic how different or how good the tire advantage was when you guys did have it at the end. And it was a good race though overall.
Yeah. So pretty much a rundown of the race. William Kern dominated the race. He went in on stage 1, forgot to get fuel, had to start at the back, worked his way back up, got in a little tussle, went back to the back, went up again. Did he get in another wreck?
I don't know if he got another wreck. He got both stages though, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. And then he worked his way up and got back there. And then, I think when he said he spun, he got his set then, so he can work his way back up through the field. I used my set because I wanted to go through stage points, and it worked out fine for me. I would have had third when there 15 laps left, because we all 3 had a gap. Me, Fry, and him, and Will had a pretty good gap. Then that caution came out, and I used my set of tires for stage, so it ended up costing me, and Wilder ended up saving his set, so it really helped Wilder out. But with that being said, like, Kern dominated that race pretty much, and Fry was running second, and Fry was just able to steal one away.
Yep, the tire advantage gets him the first position. Wilder came home in second, and then Kern finished third. He did get the most points though at 66 points. So that'll help him with the standings as far as pointing his way in.
And some playoff points, yeah.
Yep, and Dayhoff will brought it home fourth even after the incident at the beginning, and Bryce Tucker rounding out the top 5. So good run from Tucker as well.
Definitely.
I mean, it was a fun race, though. I would say it was a blast.
It brought me back to when they used to do the schedule just like this, where they would go from Daytona straight to Rockingham, which is kind of the reason that I did it the way that I did it. I'm an old head like that, and liked the difference of Daytona than this track. So I loved being able to make that happen here in the Gen 6, even though they didn't ever do the thing here with Rockingham in the Gen 6 car. Maybe that's why, with all the tightness off of 2 and all that. But yeah, I was glad to be able to make it happen here, and hopefully they'll be able to do the Rockingham in the Cup Series here at some point in the future.
I would go back again, even in these. It was fun.
Yeah,
my guess it's about money. That's just my guess. It's probably about money.
Spoiler alert: Rockingham Speedway is up for sale.
I thought they were redoing it.
They are, but the owner put it up for sale. If you look,
if you
look online, they got it up for sale. But that would be cool if they can get it either ISC or SMI can get it purchased and fixed up. That'd be really cool.
Let's go. HVRL Speedway. Let's go.
We're going to need to start a GoFundMe.
Or two.
But the playoff standings go as Bobby Grady won Daytona, so he's locked in, and now Kevin Fry is locked in. And then we'll have Bryce Tucker was leading the points. We have not updated his penalty for his -5 points, so it'll be William Kern, then Bryce Tucker, then me, John Wilder, Brandon Dayhoff, and Chris are tied for 7th. Tied for 9th is Don Miller and Randy Post. Matthew Chase is in there as well, and Justin Nava. And below the cut line, yeah.
Turns out back-to-back 8th place finishes gets you 11th in the points.
It turns out. Travis George just a little bit below the cut line there with 12.
Poor Travis, man.
Oh yeah, he had a rough go. He chose not to use his fast repair, then got multiple laps down and never come back from that. Jace Keller in 14th, KT in 15th, Josh Parker in 16th, and Andre in 17th. And we had a really good showing. So I hope that keeps up, because we had like 25 or so, which is a great number. I would love to keep it right there. I think it's for good racing at that amount of attendance.
So, right now we're sitting at 15 checked in for Iowa this coming week. So far, but we got a couple of days.
I'm fired up for the next couple races. Iowa's going to be fun. Sonoma, I'm liking that one. And then after that, there's another good race.
Indy, Kansas, New
Hampshire. Yeah.
See, I got all this flack for the schedule and how much of a dick punch it was. Quoting Sean Hapiak right now, how much of a dick punch the regular season was. But I think this is going to be some of the best racing we got on the league channel right now in this Gen 6 car, because all of these, pretty much everybody, I've had a little bit of experience in this car, but pretty much everybody is so new that they didn't get to experience this car when it was the A-class car. So we're all learning together how to drive this thing, and it is going to be some of the best racing in the series, I think.
Yep. And in case if any of you guys are wondering, it kind of drives like the ARCA car a little bit, just with more horsepower.
Yep. And especially on Iowa, they got the 750 horsepower package in that thing. It has got some balls on it. It loves to get the power down.
Yeah.
I did a bunch of laps at Sonoma too. Sonoma is like, it's like the Cub car almost, or the next gen, I'm sorry. But it's just, it doesn't get so loose. You can feel it more. That's my difference between this car and the next gen. I could feel this car more, what it's doing. You know, um, next gen kind of just goes crazy sometimes out of nowhere. Like, you know. So,
especially
anyways,
with this new
it's
update. Yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
So that is a problem with next because they keep wanting to tinker with it, and I know they'll eventually get it to a good spot. But you learn something, then they update it, and you have to it's like a whole new vehicle. You got to relearn it again. So they ain't touching this car. I mean, this Gen 6 is gonna stay like this for a long, long time, probably.
Well,
So
they might tinker with the tire model, but that'd be about it.
right. So, um, I was talking to William Kern earlier, tell him I was gonna get him at Dover. That's his favorite track. So he
He
said,
loves that track.
well, I told him it's mine now. That's where I got
Oh,
my
okay.
first win, so Dover's mine.
All
He
right.
doesn't think that's true. I probably really don't either. But still, I was talking to him. I said, "Hey, well, after Sonoma, like the schedule gets really fun." So
I think it does.
yeah, so
I think
we
there's a
really
lot
have
of great
good.
tracks. There's a couple that are going to be kind of iffy. I think New Hampshire's on the list for could be another one of those dick punch kind of races because that track can be difficult for different reasons. And I've never really had a league race at New Hampshire yet, so I'm excited to have a chance and have a crack at it in the Gen 6 car.
So I think Indy will be fun. So we'll see
Yep.
how that works. So
Yeah, I've got some redemption for myself at Indy in these cars. So.
Oh yeah. So yep. So yeah, I think that was a pretty good rundown. Probably went a little long, but we had a lot of series to go over and things like that. Definitely didn't want to do it on the 4th like we normally do. I'm definitely looking forward to this week's races. All of them. They seem like they're going to be really good races.
Yeah, 2 hours. We just get to going, huh? We just start yapping.
Well, I
that's
did
the
have
thing
it
is-
running for like 20 minutes before we went live.
Oh,
And
okay.
the other part of that is, where we don't have the race, have the time here to, sit down, really get
For
deep
sure, yeah.
into stuff as well. So it's a lot better
Yeah.
as far as that goes. We can actually take the time and look over everything.
Well, yeah, going over penalties, IPL for the first time and all that stuff takes a while. Next time it'll just be winners and who did what and what we think about the series. Where was Cup again? Next Friday?
Next Friday, they are at Pocono.
Pocono.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Boy, I'm looking to this week's
Yeah,
set of
we
races.
talked about that like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, forget already. No,
Yeah.
this whole list this week is pretty awesome. So I think I like all these tracks.
We've got Kentucky with the wonderful turn 3 and 4 there for the Truck Series on Sunday. That's the next thing on the docket.
Yep.
And then we go to Gen 6 at Iowa. That's going to be fun.
Mhm.
ARCA, they are at Milwaukee, and then we get back around to next Friday for Pocono.
Boy,
with the
we got
Cup
a little
Series.
got a little bit something for everybody that week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right.
All
Well,
right.
I guess that'll do it, guys.
Yep.
So we'll see y'all next week on the podcast. Probably be on Friday, I'm sure. Then we'll catch y'all Sunday. Make sure to tune in.